And in day 11, we will be discussing transportation for seniors still living at home. So, public transportation is the first topic. And of course, most cities, county areas, or whatever have like a particular, like Anson County city bus or County, whatever. So most of every area have something. And beyond that, if it's bigger cities, of course they have the, uh, but more than just buses, like the subways and the trains and all of that. Sometimes that can be unsafe. I don't always recommend in bigger cities unless they have someone like a caregiver going with them. So just be mindful of that and weigh out those options. Next topic will be like a senior transportation service, and these are becoming even more popular. And these type of things, you can get them at a discounted rate. I know one of my favorite ones is in Salisbury. It's called Care Transport. I know the owner and the family of that company, and what they specialize in, they actually do medical transportation. They do just regular rides, and I think they've expanded beyond seniors, but seniors is their number one, or how they started out. But I think they do kind of expand beyond seniors. But those smaller companies, they have cars, vans, buses, depending on how many seniors you need to ride. I always highly recommend those. Uh, a lot of people are coming up with different transportation companies, so that's always something to consider, which would be more personal, more private than just hopping on the bus. um, you can have someone to volunteer to drive. So, of course, your local churches that you attend or any groups that you're in, be, always say reach out. I always say reach out because you never know who can assist. So that's always something. Ride sharing has become really, really big. And if you don't know what ride sharing is, which you should by now, but that's your Uber, your Lyft. I think they have another one out. I can't think of what it's called, but there's other companies similar to Uber and Lyft that are coming out. Those are the ones that you download the apps for. You select where you want your loved one to go or where you all are going. They pick them up, take them where they need to go. The only thing about that you have to be careful is because it can be anyone. I mean, like absolutely anyone that'll pick you up and take you somewhere. So you just be mindful of those type of things. Uber and Lyft is not always bad. And I think I've never had the app, so I'm not sure. But if I'm not mistaken, I think you can actually see who your driver is going to be, what vehicle they're in. You can see a little bit more information on them. So that that's always an option. Accessible vehicles. So make sure that if your loved one can't walk forward, if they're in a wheelchair, make sure that when you specify you need a particular ride, this is not like Uber and Lyft and all that. I mean, everything that I've just mentioned. Please make sure that they know that you need something wheelchair, or let them know, hey, we can't do a van or a bus because they can't step up too high. Um, Driving safety. Okay. So if your loved one still drives, please ride with them a few times to see if they're still capable of driving. I know that we have some disrespectful, dangerous people driving nowadays, and they'll cut them off real quick. And our loved ones, the seniors are starting to drive a little slower. So just kind of be mindful of that. And if it's time to talk to your loved one or have the physician have a conversation with them, okay, it's time to suspend your license or retire your license. I'm not sure what it's called, but I know that those are the hard conversations that you have to have. So consider that. Also, with driving, vision and hearing. So not only just driving safety, but vision and hearing is very, very important, which is why I wanted to start the conversation out with the public transportation and the senior programs and the ride sharing, because vision and hearing is really, really important. Your loved one vision, they in one eye could probably see maybe 10%, and that's not safe because making turns and all that. It's just unsafe. Medication and side effects. That's another topic. Please consider all medication and side effects that your loved one is on. Also, look at their medications and make sure one don't interact with the other in a certain type of way. Because if they are on a particular medication and it affects them and they're behind that wheel, they can cause an accident. They can cause themselves to be hurt. And I hate to say it, but even could possibly die. So just be careful with that. I don't want any fatal accidents. I don't want them hurting anyone else, and of course not themselves. So just be careful. And emergency preparedness. Always plan in an unexpected situation. So if your loved one is still driving, make sure that they have like the jumper cables in the trunk. Make sure that they have a gas can in the trunk. I mean, even make sure that they actually have gas in a vehicle. Like that is so very important. Just kind of help them oversee things if you're still allowing them to drive. If you're not allowing them to drive anymore, they don't drive anymore, and they're doing ride shares, just make sure they have certain things with them, everything that they need. I had some gentleman that came to my job today. His loved ones do not live in North Carolina, so he had to call them and say, "Hey, I'm finished with my appointment. Can you call the Uber people for me?" So if you have to do that, that's fine. But the son and his wife, they have the Lyft and Uber app on their phone, and they just track everything. So just be mindful of that. A lot of times we don't think about transportation for our loved ones, but that is very important. That's a simple topic that no one think about. But while they're still able to care for themselves, please consider that transportation, and not only just to medical appointments, but grocery shopping, a ride to church, the grocery store, just anything. Just consider all of that. That's all I have for tonight. And all I ask is that you consider everything that I have discussed. Have a great night. Hi, guys. We're here back for day 11.